Tonight, the president and his team trudging forward.
All we are saying is let's press pause, allow the courts to look at what happened.
As Georgia now heads to a full hand recount. Plus, where things stand in the Senate. Will Republicans keep control, or can Democrats turn it blue? And golf at its finest. The moment at Augusta National that has everyone talking. All this and more tonight on Faith Nation. Welcome to Faith Nation, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith in for John Jessup and Jenna Browder. Well, tonight, former Vice President Joe Biden moving forward with plans to assume the presidency despite the Trump campaign launching a new legal case. But today, they were all on the same page when it comes to the military as they honored the nation's veterans. CBN's White House correspondent Ben Kennedy joins us now with the latest. Ben.
Well, Wendy, this is the first time we've seen President Trump in several days. Both he and Biden attended Veterans Day events moments ago. The commander-in-chief and First Lady traveled to Arlington National Cemetery to participate in a National Veterans Day observance. His campaign is still filing legal challenges. The latest suit in Michigan, today citing multiple witness accounts of irregularities, incompetence, and unlawful voting counting. Georgia election officials announced an audit of presidential election results that will trigger a full hand recount. The process is expected to take until November 20th. And after the hand recount results are certified, the losing campaign can then request another recount, which will be performed by machine.
With the margin being so close, it will require a full by hand recount in each county. This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift, but we will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification.
Biden's lead is leading Trump by a little more than 14,000 votes in Georgia. Today, the former VP and his wife visited the Korean War Memorial in Philadelphia. After honoring those who served our country, Biden met with his transition advisors. Now, Biden calls Trump's action, quote, an embarrassment, adding that it does not help the president's legacy. Wendy?
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. Well, the Trump campaign's Kayleigh McEnany says it's unclear who the next president will be. She says there's too much uncertainty about the voting in too many states. She tells our David Brody that there is too much evidence of wrongdoing.
Kayleigh, hey, great to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Good to join you, David. Thanks for having me.
And from there, our conversation centered on electoral votes and legal mayhem. There are lawsuits galore from Georgia to Michigan to Nevada and Pennsylvania. Allegations of voter fraud and irregularities that McEnany says need time to be brought to light.
All we are saying is let's press pause, allow the courts to look at what happened, and then we can move forward united as a country. But we believe asking for transparency should be a good thing. And it's amazing with the Democrats. They tried to delegitimize the 2016 election for 4 years. All we're asking is for transparency. And we have the media attacking us simply for asking to put light on the system.
They especially feel Pennsylvania needs attention.
You have people like the Secretary of State, an avowed anti-Trump individual who's out there and saying we're going to move Election Day to 3 days after the election in Pennsylvania by accepting ballots that come in 3 days later and setting up disparate systems. Our lawsuit in Pennsylvania alleges equal protection issues that in a place like Philadelphia, they were finding out which ballots did not have secrecy envelopes, contacting those voters in a predominantly blue county, allowing them to cure their ballots, come in and vote provisionally, and no red counties were doing the same.
McEnany also says they've collected evidence of alleged wrongdoing in Michigan.
There are affidavits. I have them here. There are 131 of them that attestations to voter fraud. One, in fact, was a city election official who'd worked there for decades, who says that they were telling voters to vote for Joe Biden, encouraging them to backdate ballots.
What do you say to the critics who say, well, where is the widespread voter fraud to overturn, let's say, tens of thousands of ballots in multiple states? What's the answer to that?
Well, so the answer is two-part. First, we do have several attestations to witnesses of voter fraud. We can't even begin to see how deep this goes until our poll watchers are allowed in the building. We know that with 680,000 ballots in Pennsylvania, our poll watchers weren't there to watch. So until we get meaningful access into these ballots, we won't truly be able to see how far it goes. But to me, the systemic issue, the most important issue, David, is this equal protection provision, and it goes widespread.
Democrats and much of the media are highly skeptical. Yet McEnany calls this a political strategy.
So you say the Democrat Party is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. What were you trying to say, or what did you mean by that exactly?
If you are against looking at voter eligibility, making sure the voting rolls don't have dead people on them, making sure that everyone there is a live, active voter, if you are against making sure that signatures are verified and double-checked, then you are welcoming voter fraud. You are welcoming it by asking for the converse, which is exactly what Democrats have done in several states across the country.
So how does this all end?
You know, I think at this point it probably will make its way up to the Supreme Court. Right now we're at the district court level, and we will see how they rule in Pennsylvania and on our upcoming lawsuits here in Michigan and elsewhere. And I think it's really anyone's guess where this goes.
David Brody, CBN News.
And David joins us now with more. David, this is far from over. A lot to sort through, it appears. I guess the big question now is, will these legal challenges be enough to change anything?
Well, you're right, Wendy. We don't know is the answer. You know, of course, the skeptics, which I include liberals, Democrats, the media, they say absolutely not. I mean, they're saying basically the contention by liberals and Democrats in the Biden administration, I'm getting a little too ahead of myself here, but the Biden campaign says that, yeah, okay, so there's some voter fraud. There's voter fraud in every election. That's not a good thing. But is it widespread enough? And that's why I was pushing Kayleigh McEnany on that. Is it widespread enough to really make a difference? And the truth is they don't know, they being the Trump campaign, and that's what we wait to see.
David, how are things looking now in Pennsylvania? Is that the most significant legal challenge to win, or does President Trump need them all to go his way?
Well, he needs more than just Pennsylvania, Wendy. I mean, he's going to probably need a different recount in Georgia to go his way. He's going to somehow need to win Arizona as well. So it's tough. I know you're going to talk about that golf shot later on that we saw in the open to the show. Well, that's kind of like what Trump's electoral challenge is right now. He's got to hit that golf shot, and it's tough. But can he do it? Possibly. Why do I say possibly? Look, there is some new information coming out. Rudy Giuliani says, this is what Giuliani says, that there are some whistleblowers coming forward from Dominion voting systems, ones that are going to say, we actually either saw or witnessed somehow, some way, voter tampering with those systems in terms of votes being changed. Now, how many? We don't know. How many states? We don't know. But that could be a potential smoking gun, and I want to emphasize potential. We don't know. But I will say this, the Trump campaign needs a smoking gun.
Yeah, absolutely. That golf shot was truly a miracle. Well, David, do you think Republicans will hold on to the Senate? Right now, all eyes are on Georgia.
My sense is they will. I mean, right now it's 50-48. There's 2 seats left. We know they're in Georgia. The sense is they'll probably split there. Kelly Loeffler probably has the better road there because Doug Collins, who was also a Republican, was in that race back, well, just a week and a half ago or so. He's now going to be out of the race. So the sense is that she should be able to get over the hump. We'll see. If that's the case, it's 51-49. So it could be 52-48 Republicans, 51-49 possibly. I don't think Democrats will probably take the House. Having said, or excuse me, take the Senate. Having said that, lots of money is coming in from the Democrats into Georgia, and Chuck Schumer is salivating.
Very interesting. All right, David Brody, we always appreciate your insights. Thanks so much. Well, Republicans have held on to Senate seats in Alaska and North Carolina. Republican U.S. Senator Dan Sullivan won re-election in Alaska, defeating independent Al Gross. Senator Tom Tillis won his race in North Carolina following a concession from his Democratic challenger Cal Cunningham. Both races were too close to call on Election Day. The result in Alaska means that control of the Senate won't be decided until 2 January Senate runoffs are held in Georgia, as David was just mentioning. Well, Etta weakened again to a tropical storm Wednesday afternoon, just hours after regaining hurricane strength. Florida was bracing for a second hit from the storm along the Gulf Coast near the heavily populated Tampa Bay region. The storm's maximum sustained winds decreased to around 70 miles per hour off Florida's southwest coast as it moved northward. Coming up, the latest on the pandemic and a promising new vaccine made without using fetal cells. Stay tuned.
Having sex before you marry is a bad idea.
Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire, Monday night at 9:30. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Watch The Global Lane, Thursday night at 9:30. Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
The U.S. hit a record number of coronavirus hospitalizations this week and surpassed 1 million new confirmed cases just since the beginning of this month. This new surge is more widespread than the previous peaks we saw last spring and during the summer. CBN's medical reporter Lori Johnson joins us now to tell us what we can expect as we head into the holiday season. I hope you've got some good news for us, Lori.
A little bit of both, Wendy. You know, we know the death rate is dramatically down. That's good news, of course, but this rise in hospitalization is very concerning. Of course, the death rate is actually a percentage. Out of all the people who have COVID, what percentage die from it? Testing has skyrocketed. About 1 million Americans are tested every day, and that increases the case number, which decreases the percentage of deaths. However, we're still seeing a troubling number of hospitalizations and deaths. That number is on the rise in almost every area of the country. Before it was the New York City area, then Florida and Texas. Now it's pretty much everywhere, Wendy.
Lori, can our healthcare system handle all of these new cases? That was the concern from the very start, wasn't it?
It absolutely was. The shutdowns, the lockdowns that we experienced early in the pandemic were to give the healthcare system time to make arrangements for an influx of patients. New treatments help shorten hospital stays now, and most hospitals developed plans to share the workload with other hospitals that might not have as much. But of course, there is a limit to how much they can all take at one time. So we all hope and pray that limit is not exceeded needed this winter, Wendy.
Amen. Well, Lori, we heard some good news about a possible vaccine this week, but some pro-life groups are concerned about how certain vaccines were developed. Can you explain this to us?
Well, we're talking about 2 abortions that occurred decades ago. Now, cells from those 2 babies were modified so that they keep regenerating in a lab over and over again all of these years later. And it's those cell lines that are used in the development of some vaccines. Not all, but some, including some COVID-19 vaccines. I spoke to a Christian pro-life physician about this, and he says he thinks it's okay to take such a vaccine.
And while I do believe it was wrong for that to happen, I believe that to have been an evil act. In the case when something good comes from it, I don't think as a believer we have to have a moral objection of receiving that. And I think the best analogy, and I think it's honestly a very tight one, is with organ donation. So if someone was murdered in the first degree and was also an organ donor, as a Christian, we shouldn't have any hesitation to say, hey, we'll take this person's heart, for grandpa, or this person's corneas, or this person's kidneys. In those cases, there was an evil act that preceded something and something good came from it. If the cell lines were being used to make the vaccines and were being continuously used, I would have more objection than anybody. I would say, no, I don't care how good it is. Honestly, I feel that way about any medical treatment, including embryonic stem cells and research in that regard. So I do think it's different. I think that we can have solace in knowing that even though there's something evil done, it's not being perpetuated. And I think with a clear conscience, we could take a vaccine and know that good is coming from something that was evil.
Speaking of fetal cells, last year the Trump administration banned the use of cells from any new abortions for the use in medical research and development that the government funds. However, these old cell lines are still allowed. Wendy?
Information. Thank you, Lori. Still ahead, it's a growing battle for way too many men and women in the military and veterans, how they're getting help with this different kind of war. After this on Faith Nation.
Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
Watch On the Home Front today at 2:30.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
Suicide is a growing problem among America's military. This Veterans Day, we take a look at one organization hoping to change that by helping veterans fight this different kind of battle and win. Mark Martin has the story.
Veterans fighting overseas not only suffer physically, but emotionally as well. Hidden battle scars that make life difficult back home. That's where Operation Restored Warrior comes in. To find it, CBN News traveled to the heart of Colorado. With its wide open spaces and large horse corral, the Four Eagle Ranch resembles something out of the Old West. But take a closer look and you'll see much more. Organizers of Operation Restored Warrior say it's a location where healing takes place. While the program welcomes all faiths, its core Christian ministry is the 5-day program called the Drop Zone.
A drop zone is a place in enemy territory where you go take that ground. And very often in kind of Christian environments, we refer to things as retreats. I'm going to go to a retreat. And that just didn't sit well with us as professional military men. It's like, well, why are we retreating? How about if we go gain ground? So we specifically call coming to a drop zone a counterattack. And that appeals to warriors.
That counterattack is threefold: rescue, rebuild, and restore.
Warriors come to this place because they're looking for hope. And often the enemy has just beat them down. But this is the place where they know there's some hope. And then when they get here, what they find out is that this is where healing is. And that hope and healing is here because Jesus is here.
The intensive program targets areas of the heart that need healing. ORW leaders hold to the belief psychology reveals, Jesus heals, and say it's been proven hundreds of times. For participants like Navy veteran Paul Williams, the program can be a literal lifesaver.
July 2nd of this year, I had written a note, and I was ready to go. And it just didn't happen. You know, I went back to my truck to go get the gun, and it wasn't there. So I just started praising Jesus with my praise and worship music and said, you know what, I need to give this ORW, Operation Restored Warrior, a really good shot.
And that decision led to victory.
I was able to open up to Paul, the founder of ORW, about all the trash that I've been carrying. And it felt so good to finally just let it out, you know. I can't thank this organization enough. I mean, I came here fighting for my life. And I'm gonna walk away a champion. So, I love them a lot, and I'm super thankful for it.
Army veteran Braxton Dunbar dealt with many things, including suicidal thoughts before coming to ORW.
I was definitely a broken man. Had a lot of depression and anxiety, a lot of anger, a whole lot of anger, and just felt lost. Really, just didn't know where my place was. Didn't know how to find my place either.
Dunbar accepted Christ during the drop zone and decided to get baptized.
The same individual that prayed with me, Jordan, kind of came to me and said, you know, you accepted him yesterday and you verbally accepted him into your life. Would you want to show the action of it? And there was no question at all. I said, absolutely, I'd love to.
Retired Air Force Chaplain Steve Frick also received healing through the program.
ORW doesn't just help, they heal. And that's a little hard to hear when you first get here, but I'm telling you, it's true.
In addition to powerful sessions building up the faith of the men, the drop zone also allows time for recreational activities like fly fishing. What can they learn from this? Lavelle says it nourishes the soul, among other things.
The reason we do the activities is because it's part of a spiritual longing for a man to have adventure in his life. It's one of the core desires of a man. And so as part of this restoration process, we want to remind them that there is adventure out there.
Retired Command Sergeant Major Chris Fields is the drop zone lead facilitator. He too once contemplated taking his life and also lost fellow service members to suicide. Fields understands the urgency of going through this program before it's too late.
Don't wait another moment to reach out and to ask for help. I used to think that I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, I ate barbed wire in the morning, and you can surmise what I did in the afternoon. But when I reached out for help, I'm stronger than I ever was. And it just takes one moment to say, okay, let me see what this is all about. And then let Jesus take it from there.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Walcott, Colorado.
Let Jesus take it from there. What a great story. Well, still ahead, from pond to pin, one of the most incredible hole-in-ones you've ever seen. You're watching CBN's Faith Nation.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the sleep doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come with...
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
There's a movement growing. People from all over the world are praying for America. We'll be praying for all 50 states, and we want you to be a part of it. Only through humbling ourselves in prayer can we change the course of our nation. So join us. Take the pledge to pray with us. Go to prayforamerica.com. Call 1-800-700-7000 or text PRAY to 71777.
Finally tonight, did you see this? One of the most impressive holes-in-one you've ever witnessed. Warm up for the Masters on this par 3 at Augusta National. Skips the ball over the water and onto the grass. It lands perfectly, then slowly rolls into, wait for it, the hole. A shot so incredible, even competitor Ricky Fowler gave him a high five. And that's not all. Yesterday was also John Rahm's birthday. Happy birthday. Well, the Spanish golfer is 26 years old and a favorite to win this year's Masters. And we can see why. That is truly a miracle. That's going to do it for Faith Nation. You can watch CBN News anytime on our CBN News Channel or visit cbnnews.com.